Hello everybody, welcome back to another matchday preview. Previewing Wednesday night's game away at Southampton. Another big relegation game, but look, let's be honest, it's probably going to be us. Well, actually, the only last real relegation scrap is really between Cardiff and Southampton, so we can only do little really in the relegation mix. It'd give us a small chance of staying up, but it's not going to happen, is it? But if we were to win this game, it'd definitely put the pressure on Southampton in terms of them trying to stay in the league, and it'd probably give a huge advantage to Cardiff. So looking at the way this is, Southampton currently sitting 18th. They've played 27 games. They've won 5 of those games, drawn 9 and lost 13. Goal difference of -18 and a points total of only 24, which is not too bad. But if they can go a little bit of a run, they can definitely get out of it. But they're occupying, as I said, occupying 18th at the moment. So they do need to get some form together sooner rather than later, because the last 3 have been 1 draw and 2 defeats. Obviously got beaten yesterday away at Arsenal 2-0 quite comfortably really. Top goal scorer is Danny Ings with 7 goals this season, and most assists from what I've seen is former Fulham loanee Matt Targett with 3. So it's going to be a tough game, but look, there's no pressure on us, I don't think now. We are probably, it's inevitable that we are going to go down. I think Friday's game really epitomised that. If you didn't watch the review, then go and watch it on my channel. It was the previous video prior to this, which I did. And yeah, we started off quite well, didn't we? But we don't really seem to do much more than play well for about 5 or 10 minutes. And then once the equaliser went in, which was controversial, don't get me wrong, but we were never gonna. It was never going to change the game too much, I didn't think. And we went into the break, didn't we, at 2-1 down, and then it was a sloppy in the second half. We huffed and puffed a little bit, but we didn't do enough to. We could have played all night and just didn't do enough to score in the end to even get back into the game. And then obviously West Ham killed us off right at the end with Antonio's header. But look, there are a few sour notes that came out afterwards of what happened. You know, I'm not going to go into it too much because it all seems to have been sorted out now. But look, the one thing that annoys me this season is the way some of our fans have carried on. It's, you know, the way they've carried on, you'd have thought the club was on the verge of extinction, and it's probably an overreaction to what's actually happened. Look, we are going to go down, but look, if you want to go and see a club that, if you want to go and see something that's really going wrong with a club, go to Coventry, on the verge of probably going into the football league, out of the football league next season, because they can't guarantee that they'll be playing at the Rico next season. They've got to find a home for next season, otherwise they'll be expelled from the league. You look at Blackpool as well, what's happened with them. They're only going into a receivership at the moment after about a number of years of trying to fight their way through the constant pain that the Oysters have put them through and destroyed that club. And it only looks like they're only going to come out of it now. And they're not in the clear just of yet, but it's a big step in the right direction for them. And compared to what's going on at our club at the moment, it's nothing compared to what's happening there. And I think a lot of the fans are probably overreacting at the moment. And look, the main important thing is, look, regardless of what happens, we just all got to stick together. And it's easier. I know it's easier said than done at certain times. We can all be frustrated, but there's no point trying to fight our own, especially, you know, from what I heard on Friday. And I don't want to talk about it too much because, as I said, it's been sorted out. But the main thing is that all the fans, regardless of what happens, we've all got to stick together. We're going to be here longer. We're going to be here before, when these owners eventually go, when managers go. We're all still going to be here. We make this club. The fans are such an important part of the football club that without us, a football club couldn't really survive, in my opinion. And we just got to stick together. It's not as bad as people may seem. Look, relegation isn't great, but we're not on the verge of extinction. We're not on the verge of being kicked out of the Premier League or the Football League. So we just got to stick with it. It's going to be hard. It's been a difficult season, and it's definitely been frustrating for everybody, but we can only do our best and only stick together. There's no need to start causing fights with each other. That's not going to solve anything. It's not going to get us out of the mess we're in at the moment. We've all got to stick together. We've been through far, far worse than this. The club almost died. Let's not forget, this club's almost gone into extinction as well. We've had problems along the way in the past. Almost went down to League One not too long ago, and we came through it. So we can come through this as well. At the moment, it might not seem like there's too much light at the end of the tunnel, but if we stick together, we can get through this. Depending on what division we're in next season, we've all got to stick together and really get behind the team, regardless of what's going on off the pitch. We can only do what we can, and we've done well this season supporting the boys. We've taken big numbers away from home near enough to every game. We've done well at home as well, so we can only do what we can and support the boys in whatever way we can, and just all stick together. It's going to be challenging the next couple of months, and especially for the next year, or maybe next year or two. It could be difficult, but we've been through it before and we've came through it. I'm confident it might take a little bit longer, but I'm confident we can come through it again. And we just, as I said, the main thing I keep saying is we just got to stick together and believe. You know, we just got to stick together. As I said, it's going to be difficult, but if we stick together, it will be a little bit more easier than it would be if there's a big divide amongst the fans. We're all frustrated, which is completely understandable, but there's no need to start causing fights with our own fans, because look, we're not like a Coventry, a Blackpool, a Charlton, where things are quite bad there, and they've got a complete right to be annoyed with the way things have been run for them in the past couple of years. But we're not like that at the moment, and we're not in a terrible situation. So we just got to sit together, and you never know, things might look better next year maybe. For all we know, it could even get worse. But we just got to keep going with the fans, and we just got to keep on going at the end of the day. But as I said, I'm not expecting much from this game from our side of things. I mean, as I said, we started really well, didn't we, on Friday? But it's just not enough. We just don't seem to do enough. I think once we can see the goal, the heads go down, and it's very frustrating, because this group is a talented group of players, and it's deeply, deeply frustrating. But watching the game on Friday, and I think Gary Neville really summed it up, especially when talking about Andre Schürrle, I think when you look at some of the teams who went down in the past couple of years, I think, as Gary Neville said last year, Xherdan Shaqiri was probably the Andre Schürrle of Stoke last year in terms of what he was capable of doing, but not showing enough of it over the course of the season, and really going hiding in games when they could have really done with their better players coming out and showing the qualities they had. But obviously Shaqiri didn't do that last year. Stoke went down. He got a move to Liverpool and doing all right now, but I don't think Schürrle would get that move to a bigger club. So I don't think he's at the age now, and I don't think he's as good as Shaqiri, in my honest opinion. But the things that Schürrle did say, I think Neville summed up quite well. It's not helpful around the group, especially when it's rumoured to, it depends on how true it is. But when there's a story going around of Schürrle saying that if we go down, I'm not going to be here next year, it's almost as if like you look in the change room and you think, well, do they really care at the moment? Because it doesn't seem too bothered. They don't seem too fussed where they are next season, as long as they're playing football. They don't seem too fussed on whether we go down or we stay up, and that doesn't help at all. And it's just been the story of our season. And I don't want to talk about it too negative, because it is a preview. It's not a review. We can't be too down on things. It's been a hard season, of course it has. It's been a big learning curve for everybody involved with the club in terms of the dealings on and off the pitch. There's been so many problems and so many things they've got wrong. And I'll say this probably for another time to go in a little bit more detail, but having players like that who arguably don't really want to be here at the moment doesn't help. And whether or not they still play, I'm not too sure. But I think there's a few other players who performed quite poorly on Friday. Ryan Sessegnon was a big disappointment, I felt. I don't know what's happened with him at the moment. I know he's only had really one poor game, so I'm not going to look to judge him too badly on that. So hopefully you can forget about that and put it behind him. It was just a bad day at the office all round, really, wasn't it? It was one of them nights that it wasn't a great night, and you just got to draw a line under it and just forget about it as quick as possible. There's no point dwelling on it, because if you dwell on it, you ain't going to move forward properly. So I think we'll get a point here on Wednesday night. I think we're playing Wednesday. I think we'll get a point. I think it'll be 1-1. I think it'll be a very cagey game. I think both teams will be too afraid to lose it. It'll be quite a tight game. Both teams won't commit too many men forward early on. I think if there's an early goal from either side, it will open up the game a bit more. You might see a bit more commitment from the team chasing the game, whether it's us or Southampton. But I think for about the early stages of the game, it's going to be quite cagey. I think both teams will try and keep it as tight as possible and not look to try and play their hand too early. Like a game of chess, probably, like one move. Be very cautious, I think, until something happens where then it'll be a question of, will the other team chasing the game, will they come out and respond, or will they can still try and be more conservative and try and get an equaliser from maybe a set piece or something like that. So it'll be an interesting and eye-opening fixture tomorrow. I think it's one of the more intriguing games we've got during the week, and especially with what's riding on it, of course. And there's a lot at stake for both teams. I mean, probably more at stake for Southampton, because their survival, they've still got a strong chance of survival compared to us, which is really dwindling away as the weeks go on. So there's more pressure on them, I'd say, than us. I think we're going into this game as the underdogs and probably expecting to get beat by many pundits and probably fans as well. So, but if we come away with a point, it wouldn't be terrible, I don't think, especially in our situation at the moment. As long as we don't get beat, I suppose. And I think as long as we don't lose a game, it's a minor victory in itself at the moment for the way we're playing. But I think it'll be a 1-1 draw, as I said. It'll be a tight game. Then it build up to the derby on Sunday, which I'm not looking forward to, because I think we're going to get stuffed. But you never know. Football's a strange game. If we come out of this and somehow magically get 6 points out of the next 2 games, which won't happen, but if we did, then things can suddenly change. But it's not going to happen, of course. I'd love it to, but I don't think it will. And a point here would be a fairly decent result for us, considering the form we're in at the moment. And we've just got to see where we go from here. But if you did enjoy it, guys, as I said, hit the thumbs up, comment away, as always. And the comments I got on Friday after the West Ham game were generally quite good. A lot of positive, appreciative comments towards me, which is always nice. I mean, I don't like trying to get carried away too much after a defeat. I like to try and keep as level-headed as possible, and people seem to like that, which is good. But we just all got to sit together, as I said, keep on supporting the club through thick and thin, go with the good times as well as the bad times. It happens at a football club, as I said before, we're not in a terrible situation. It's not the end of the world. If we go down, it's just going to happen. We just have to get on with it. We've done it before, and I'm sure we can get on with it again. So if you did enjoy it, hit the thumbs up, comment, as I said, subscribe as well, that'd be brilliant as well. And yeah, see you all after the game, hopefully, for the match review. Take care.